never give in. You're gonna win, gonna rise again. No matter what they say, no matter what they do.
Could it be true that the purest form of love and support comes not from the young, but from those who have already lived decades of life? What happens when a group of grandmothers calling themselves Army Grandma suddenly takes over the spotlight with their sweet yet shocking support for Jikook? Is this just a coincidence? Or does it reveal something deeper, something hidden, something that even the sharpest fans failed to see? Before we unravel this heartwarming yet mysterious story, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe so you never miss the emotional twists, hidden clues, and breathtaking revelations behind BTS Jikook and the fandom that refuses to be ordinary. Share your thoughts. Do you believe Army Grandmas are just having fun, or do they know something we don't? The world of BTS fandom has always been unpredictable, but no one could have imagined this. Just when everyone thought they had seen every form of support, from teenagers camping outside concert venues to adults flying across continents for a fan meter, new group quietly emerged and shook the fandom to its core. Army Grandma. Yes, you read that right. Not mothers, not aunts, but grandmothers. Women with silver hair, wrinkled hands, and stories etched in their faces. Women who have already lived through wars, heartbreaks, love, and loss. And yet, here they were, waving purple lightsticks, holding up banners with Jimin and Jungkook's faces, and chanting words that left everyone speechless. Jikook forever? Was this real? Was it staged? Or was it the most authentic display of love BTS has ever received? That question haunted every ARMY who stumbled upon the viral video of these grandmothers standing proudly among the crowd, their voices trembling but firm, their eyes shining with something that looked far deeper than fandom hype. It wasn't just the novelty of seeing older women in a sea of young fans. No, what truly set them apart was the energy they carried. While younger fans screamed with excitement, Army Grandma radiated a calm yet powerful presence. They weren't just cheering, they were blessing. They weren't just fans, they were guardians. And when their cheers turned toward Jikook, everything shifted. How could these women, who grew up in eras so far removed from K-pop, be so invested in this particular pairing? Why did they choose Jikook, out of all the possible ships, to declare their allegiance to? Theories began to flood online spaces. Some believed it was simply because they saw the warmth and sincerity between Jungkook and Jimin, something that reminded them of the love stories of their youth. Others suggested there might be something more, a deeper understanding, a hidden truth that perhaps only those with eyes seasoned by decades could see. The video captured one unforgettable moment. An elderly woman, her hair tied back neatly, raised her trembling hand with a purple banner. Her voice cracked but carried through the air. They belonged together. The crowd around her froze for a moment before bursting into cheers and laughter, some crying as they watched this unexpected display of devotion. It wasn't a joke. It wasn't irony. It was real. And that reality stung in a way no one expected. Because suddenly, the fandom realized something powerful. Love has no age. Devotion has no expiration date. And perhaps, just perhaps, Army Grandma was seeing something the rest of the world had long overlooked. One granddaughter revealed in an interview that her grandmother had been following BTS since their debut. She said she saw herself in them, the girl explained, tears in her eyes. She watched them grow, suffer, smile, and she always said, that Jungkook boy, he needs someone who can protect his heart. And Jimin, he's always there for him. I like them together. Isn't it astonishing? While millions of fans obsess over theories, decoding tattoos, analyzing glances, and dissecting lyrics, these grandmothers boiled it down to something much simpler. Two souls protecting each other. Could it be that the older generation, with all their experience, cuts through the noise and sees the truth more clearly than anyone else? In one clip, a grandmother gently patted her lightstick, whispering almost to herself, "He's a good boy. He deserves happiness." Another pointed at Jimin's smile in a fan-made poster and sighed, "This one, he loves deeply." They're meant to walk together. Words so simple, yet they carried the weight of decades of understanding what love truly means. And that was when the fandom broke. Tears poured in the comment sections. "This hit me harder than any fan theory," wrote one ARMY. "They see what we've been trying to prove for years." Others admitted they cried because the grandmothers reminded them of their own loved ones who had passed, who never got to witness the BTS phenomenon. Suddenly, Jikook wasn't just about to idols anymore, it became about generations, about family, about love that transcends age and time. But the mystery deepens. Why now? Why did these grandmothers suddenly step into the spotlight after years of staying silent? Was it coincidence, or was it planned? Did they come together because they wanted to deliver a message, not just to the fandom, but maybe even to Jungkook and Jimin themselves? And the most burning question of all, could their public display of support mean that something big is coming for Jikook? The crowd had never seen anything like it before. As the video of ARMY Grandma spread like wildfire across social media, the fandom collectively gasped, laughed, and cried all at once. Was this real life? Or was it a scene from some heartwarming film, carefully scripted to tug at emotions? The truth, however, was far more raw. These women were not actors. They were real, and their love for Jikook felt painfully, beautifully real as well. It was not just the words they spoke, but the way they carried them. A grandmother, leaning on her cane, raised a fan-made sign that read, "Jikook forever." The letters were uneven, written in her careful but trembling handwriting. Yet somehow, the sign looked more powerful than any professionally printed banner. Why? Because it carried sincerity, decades of life behind those words. And as the crowd cheered, one question echoed louder than any chant. What do they see that we don't? Could it be that love, when seen through the eyes of the older generation, looks clearer? ARMY Grandma did not care about rumors, shipping wars, or online debates. They did not overanalyze every lyric or frame of a music video. Instead, they saw gestures, small, intimate, honest gestures that told them more than words ever could. Jungkook's protective hand on Jimin's back. Jimin's tender way of looking at Jungkook when he thought no one noticed. Those tiny, fleeting moments that younger fans screamed over. ARMY Grandma simply nodded at, as if to say, yes, that's love. We know it when we see it. But the story does not end there. What shook fans even more was the revelation that these grandmothers were not strangers to one another. No, they were part of a small but growing community. A circle of older women who bonded over BTS, who met at local fan gatherings, and who decided that if they were going to dedicate their energy to supporting the group, they would do it with full hearts. And when it came to Jikook, they felt united, certain, unshakable. One ARMY Grandma explained through her granddaughter, "When you've lived long enough, you don't waste time on things that aren't real. We know love when we see it. Jikook is love." Her voice was steady, her tone confident, almost as though she were unveiling a truth that had always been obvious, if only people cared to look. Was this why their video struck so deeply? Because while younger fans sometimes doubted, hesitated, or fought among themselves, these grandmothers declared their faith in Jikook without hesitation. The fandom was divided. Some laughed in disbelief, others embraced the idea with tears. But regardless of opinion, everyone agreed on one thing. ARMY Grandma had changed the game. They were proof that BTS's music, and even the mysteries of Jikook, transcended time, culture, and age. They were living evidence that passion knows no boundaries. And as if fate wanted to deepen the emotional impact, stories began surfacing from fans who had seen these grandmothers in action before. A fan recalled how, during a concert, an elderly woman handed out small purple ribbons she had made by hand, whispering to each person, "Tie this for Jikook." Another remembered being hugged by a grandmother who simply said, "We're family now. That's what BTS teaches us." Could it be that their mission was larger than anyone thought? That these women weren't just fans, but messengers, bearers of a love that was purer, stronger, and braver than the world dared to believe? The more people looked, the more questions surfaced. Why did these grandmothers choose now, at this very moment, to step into the spotlight? Was there a reason? Was it connected to something Jungkook or Jimin had said, done, or hinted at in recent months? Or was it simply destiny? The universe using unexpected voices to deliver a message no one could ignore. Whatever the reason, the timing was uncanny. Jungkook and Jimin had been quieter than usual in public, their appearances carefully measured, their interactions subtle yet loaded with meaning. Fans had been desperate for clues, hungry for answers. And then suddenly ARMY Grandma appeared, louder, clearer, bolder than anyone else. Could their sweet chants and trembling voices be the very confirmation fans had been waiting for all along.